It's now 7:06, and with that, we will do a recall to order of a regular session. Jackie, can we please start with a roll call?
Linda Harris.
Here.
Fred Davis.
Here.
Ariel Owens.
Present.
Christopher Boyce.
Here.
Stacy Ramirez.
Present.
Tracy Bynum.
Here.
Jenna Zimmerman.
All right. Next item is public participation and recognition. Public comment. Members of the public who wish to speak to the board should complete a request card prior to the start of the meeting. This section of the meeting will be reserved for comments from the public. All comments should be limited to 3 minutes. Criticism of individuals is not in order. And with that, we do have three comments. The first one is Brian Brickner, I believe that's what it is. Brickner, is that right? From the YMCA. Okay, so subject MOU with Boys and Girls Club. And can you please go to the microphone? Thank you.
Okay, so as you stated, my name is Brian Bickner. I'm the CEO of the Kishwaukee YMCA. As board members, I believe you all know for the past week, the topic of the new business item, the MOU with the Boys and Girls Club, was a hot topic. Last Friday, the district proposed the idea of the Y and the Boys and Girls Club both offering after-school programming at those 3 sites. This morning, my staff and I had a Zoom call with the leadership staff of the Boys and the Girls Club. Both organizations feel this is not the best solution for the children. Furthermore, last Friday, both organizations were informed that at tonight's meeting, both organizations would have 5 minutes to talk about their programs. Neither organization felt this would be beneficial to either of us. We both respect the work of the other organization. Both organizations feel this process has been too rushed, and neither organization knows all the facts regarding the process. Therefore, we told the district this morning that neither organization will present a statement tonight, and we ask that the vote is not taken on this matter for another 4 weeks. This will allow all parties involved to discuss the matter further. Is this okay with the board for tabling this process, including a vote for 4 weeks at the request of both organizations? To the best of my knowledge, there is no representative here tonight from the Boys and the Girls Club.
Thank you. Next is Aaron Gritch, and the subject is DEI.
So it's actually Aaron Grick, rhymes with
Oh, I
brick.
apologize.
No worries, I just thought I'd clarify that. The U.S. Department of Education directs schools to end racial preferences. They must cease using race preferences and stereotypes as a factor for their admissions, hiring, promotion, compensation, scholarships, prizes, administrative support, sanctions, discipline, and beyond. Acting Assistant Secretary for the Civil Rights, Kreger Trainer, and I might slaughter that, sorry. Students should be assessed according to merit, accomplishment, and character, not prejudged by the color of their skin. Education Department will ensure that America's education institutes will again embrace merit, equality of opportunity, and academic and professional excellence. Hiring, compensation, promotions, scholarships, prizes, sanctions, and discipline. Schools, including elementary, middle, and high schools, may no longer make decisions or operate programs based on race or race stereotypes in any of these categories, or they risk losing to federal funds. So my question is, what is this board doing to make sure we don't lose our, I think it was 19 million, I don't know the exact dollar amount. In looking at Project 21, this is views of promoting African Americans. April Chapman, she said, these programs have convinced an entire generation that Black Americans don't have the ability to compete based on merit. And Horace Cooper says, it is great to see that we are recognizing that all Americans, regardless of race, can compete. And furthermore, that we can't predict based on race who will succeed and who will fail. And my last quote is Priscilla Ron. DEI policies, while often well-intended, have led to divisive and counterproductive outcomes by prioritizing identity over merit and fairness. The President's order restores equal opportunity by ensuring that all Americans, regardless of race, compete on a level playing field, rather than being subjected to government mandate quotas or preferential treatment. True opportunity comes from empowering individuals based on their skills, hard work, and character, not from government-imposed classifications that divide rather than unite. So for our students, having low standards for everyone lowers our test scores. Victimhood mentality keeps the little man down. No hope to live out the American dream, to work and fight for something better. Did you know that 9 out of 10 millionaires in the
Next
U.S.
3
didn't
minutes.
inherit their wealth?
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm sorry. Didn't have a clock.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next person is Peter Vanderbeek, and then the subject is spending and learning. Spending and learning.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Pete Vanderbeek. My wife and I are community members and parents of 4 D428 students, along with one in college. I thank all the board members for their service, and especially those who speak up and ask questions. As for all great teachers I've ever had said, if you have a question, others do too. Sometimes you may feel alone up there, but lots of us are nodding along with your questions on YouTube or from these seats right here. I was nodding along with Erin Grick 2 weeks ago when she questioned the cost of a new administrative position, a $250,000 a year employee to connect the vision to that vision and to the mission statement to the initiatives. A couple of board members questioned it as well, and again, I was nodding. Thank you for asking the questions. I don't see the position on tonight's agenda. I hope it means that it's been withdrawn. To put it in perspective, the price tag for something like that is very close to the median home sale in DeKalb County last year. And that sounded like it was going to be a long-term thing, meaning the value of an entire DeKalb home was going to be taken out of the community's wealth every year. Now, someone's going to say, Pete, that's not one person's home. It's spread out among everybody else. But isn't that how we've gotten to some pretty bad places fiscally in one of the most heavily taxed places in the country? And I urge you to consider our community median income of $35,000 when looking at these huge expenses. Along with our great successes, our district also has many students who are struggling. And I dare say it's not because we don't have that crucial additional administrator. Instead of an equity lens, a strategic plan, or whatever the flavor of the day is, I urge you to continue to focus on every expense, every hire, every yes and no vote on student learning in the classroom. What do the current adults need to help the little, medium, and large people in their care to be successful? I want to leave you with something that will be before you tonight on the agenda. Item 6C, the FTE request, the warehouse specialist position at the cost of just over $81,000 a year. I think the board should have lots of questions about this item. We're leasing space for all the furniture we have. Do we have too much stuff? With the cost of the lease plus the FTE, how much are we really paying to store stuff that we may have over-purchased or just need a temporary home? What's this stuff even worth? If it's worth less than $81,000, it's a no-brainer. Throw it out. Don't bother with the FTE. Boiling it down, we could afford to throw away and repurchase $80,000 worth of furniture each year. That's not including the savings on storage. If these ideas seem silly, here's another thought. The FTE carries a starting salary of $43,000, which is just below the cost of a new teacher, by the way. The benefits are $38,000. That gets us up to $80,000. Have we thought about using overtime to get the job done by people who already receive benefits? Every employer would do this calculation. How many OT man hours or part-time hours could we get for $80,000? I'm no mathematician, but I know it's a lot. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next item is board correspondence. Do we have any board correspondence?
I've got a couple things. So the first one is that I wanted to congratulate Huntley for doing a phenomenal job with their Wonka musical that they did this last weekend. I have had multiple people from the community actually reach out to me to tell me how amazing they thought it was. So just want to say congratulations for the job that they did over there. Then on some.
I'm sorry, that's FYI, that's both middle schools working together
Oh.
for Willy Wonka.
See, we're better together. Look at that. And two other things. So in regards to the associate superintendent, you guys are correct, that is not on the agenda anymore, and that was withdrawn. And I do want to take a moment to, I guess, just speak on that real quick, so that there's transparency and you guys know there are times where we as board members, we miss the mark. I thought I had a great idea, it was something that I thought was good, and I threw it out there. Once I talked with people within the district, I talked with people within our community, and I talked with people just all over. I realized, hey, that's not the time, it's not the place for this role. So I just will full transparency admit, I missed the mark on this one. I thought that it was something that would be a bigger support for the district, and as I talked to people, like I said, I missed the mark. So I just wanna be transparent and let you know that's why that's not on the agenda anymore. And then I will just also, while I'm talking, just address really quickly, Brian, you did mention about putting that on hold. We will be doing it later in the meeting, but I did wanna let you know that we will be.
Just we don't respond to the question, just so you know.
I respond to whoever I want to.
Okay.
But
just
anyway.
Throwing it out there, because I don't wanna make it
Is that
a custom to do that.
that will be removed from the agenda for this evening, just so that you guys are aware. And then just quick final thing, I have been asked by the IASB to sit on a panel to review things that we're doing at the conference this year. So I am spending most of my this month going through different recommendations for things that people are gonna be doing at the conference. So just know we are working for different things around the clock, even when we're not here at the room.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
All right, any other board questions?
Yes, I have something. I had the opportunity to attend the Dream Deferred Conference. Was that last week?
Yeah.
Okay, time has been timing for me, but it was really exciting to get to see some of our cabinet and some of our district leaders present. They shared a lot of great information. It was very engaging, and I just was beaming with pride to see you all in action if you're here. So thank you, and if you're watching, thank you. Also, I will share mine and Jenna's report. Jenna, our student board member, is not here. She's at a banquet tonight. But we, the board interviewed the incoming student board members, and we selected Maria Elena Bella Rodriguez, so we're very excited to do, she was fantastic, and everyone who came, if you're watching, was fantastic. Just really great to have so many interested folks, but we went with Maria, and her and I and Jenna will be doing some shadowing and meeting and training, so I'm really excited about that, and thank you to the board members who were able to help with that process.
To all the students that also came to interview, it was definitely not an easy choice this year because we had a lot of students that came out to apply, and a lot of them are very active and very involved in the mini board. So it was a tough decision. So thank you for making it tough for us because it was something they all did great. So thank you for that. And we hope that they continue to participate in the mini board so that they can continue to bring the ideas, just as they have been throughout this past year, or no, 2 years, right, that Jenna's been on the board now with us. So thank you for the work that they're doing, and thank you for the continuous work that they do. Any other board correspondence? No? All right.
No, I went to the musical at Huntley and it was great, so they did a really good job.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. All right, so next item is approved consent items. So consent agenda, it is recommended that the Board of Education approve the consent agenda items 5B through 5I, board minutes 4/3/2025 and 3/4/2025, personnel action items, purchase order requisition, payroll for February, accounts payable for March, financial reports, resolution authorizing notice of non-renewal and dismissal of part-time teachers, and the resolution authorizing notice for non-renewals and dismissal of temporary one-year service teachers as attached. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Roll call?
Fred Davis.
Yes.
Ariel Owens.
Yes.
Christopher Boyce.
Yes.
Daisy Ramirez.
Yes.
Dante Bynum.
Yes.
Amanda Harness.
Yes.
Thank you. All right, old business. Item 8, Little Barb Academy proposal. This is an action item. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the Little Barb Academy proposal for the commencement of the 2025-2026 school year. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Ariel Owens.
Yes.
Christopher Boyce.
Yes.
Daisy Ramirez.
Yes.
Dante Bynum.
Yes.
Amanda Harness.
Yes.
Fred Davis.
Yes.
Thank you. Item B, professional development request, impactful leadership. This is an action item. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve this request for professional development at the Impactful Leadership Conference on April 16th through the 19th, 2025. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Ariel Owens?
Yes.
Christopher Boys?
Yes.
Stacy Ramirez?
Yes.
Dante Bynum?
Yes.
Amanda Harness?
Yes.
Fred Davis.
Yes.
Thank you. Item C, 2025-2026 FTE request. This is an action item. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the FTE request for 2025-2026 school year. Is there a motion?
I have one final question on that.
Okay.
In regards to the multilingual instructional coach. Now, I understand they would be helping with the dual language program. I'm just,
Just let them come up so that they could answer you. Well, first they could hear you and then they could answer appropriately.
I guess the only thing I'm curious about in that regard, since they'll be, as an instructional coach, if I'm not mistaken, directly working with the teachers more than the students, correct?
Correct.
I guess why would our other currently employed instructional coaches not be able to take that on?
It's a good question. It's a specialty position, and with the two-way dual language rolling up, it will assist with that, but it will also assist with the many instructional strategies that need to support the teachers in that programming and help with some of the different managerial responsibilities and directly supporting the classroom. So are they directly and every day consistently working with students? No, but they are in and out of classrooms supporting, modeling different strategies, co-teaching in some instances, or maybe helping to facilitate some of the small group as modeling for the teachers.
So I guess, let me rephrase my question. We've already got instructional coaches within the district. I guess what I'm gearing towards is, why is it necessary that it's a multilingual instructional coach, which I am presuming comes at a higher price tag than a normal instructional assistant, or no?
It would be the same. It would be the same price tag, correct? So taking Deetra's thunder out of that portion of the question. But then your question is, why not just have it absorbed by one of our other existing? But part of the requirements for the position is they do need to be a dual language. They do need to speak. For our role responsibilities, we'll need them to be speaking Spanish and English to help support some of the work that they do. And then also, why not absorbed by the positions that we already have? We have 4 at the high school level, 2 at the high school, and then 2 at the middle school, 1 instructional coach at each middle school. They're also quite busy supporting all of the other different grade levels and curriculum content areas.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Any other questions? No? All right. Okay, let me read it again. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the FTE request for the 2025-2026 school year. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Christopher Boys?
Yes.
Stacy Ramirez?
Yes.
Dante Bynum? Yes. Amanda Harness?
Yes.
Fred Davis?
Yes.
Ariel Owens?
Yes.
Thank you. What is the item that we're removing?
So the first one is a student discipline.
No, we're removing the item. What is the item that we're removing?
G.
Item G. Okay, so we need to make a motion to do that, right?
Yes.
No, we're not removing.
I'm sorry.
We're just making a motion to, are we still doing the motion, Jackie, to remove the item G? Okay. So, before we make the motion, is there anything that we would like to add to that? Because we are making a motion to remove item G. Dr. Garcia, can you please clarify a little bit about why we're removing this item?
Sure, thank you for the opportunity. What we had provided, the plan had been to provide both the YMCA and the Boys and Girls Club an opportunity to share the features of each of their programs and talk about opportunities of what the cost would be for both of those programs. I think that really what we wanted to do was pass the MOU at this time and then work together both with YMCA and Boys and Girls Club to really ferret out what that programming would look like at the schools where the Boys and Girls Clubs would be. However, we were unable to make that happen, and the Boys and Girls Club has respectfully requested that we remove the item from the agenda to give us time to review the current programming that we have and be able to audit it. And then determining based on what that looks like, we can maybe move forward with them next year. I will say that by doing this, we discovered that we had not been reviewing MOU for the after-school programming that we do currently have. So this has now opened up that opportunity. We will be meeting with all of our before and after-school providers that work with us and our children, either within the building or outside, to ensure that the level of expectation of programming is there. And then we will continue on with requesting an MOU individually, and then those MOUs will be done on a yearly basis. Did I get everything, Mr. Wedemon?
Yes.
Okay.
In the process of doing that, while obviously, in regards to this, I know that this is something that the board had requested for you to look into some time ago. Is it possible, if the conversations are to continue, that we maybe provide the community with some of the distinctions between the programs? Because I know for a fact, growing up, as someone that grew up outside of this community, I know that the Boys and Girls Club was a service that was provided in my community, and I know that they provided a lot of the similar services that the Y does currently provide, but they did provide, they also provided different ones. So would it be possible for us to be provided with clarity on what those look like in regards, and maybe even data of what that looks like in regards to support that they offer our children?
Absolutely. I think that once we have the conversations with our current providers, determine what they are doing and where we want them to go next. Once we have that, then I'd like to open that up for the whole public to see what those options are. What I really want is for our families to decide what they want, not just to offer one option, but offer various options so that they can pick and choose what makes sense for their family. So we will be doing that. I just need some time to be able to prepare that and share that with the public.
And I know that there were some, I know I personally received some emails with concerns in regards to some people feeling like this was going to replace things. I want to make sure that it is clear that it is never to replace things, but also to add things. It is always a matter about us wanting to add additional support or services to our families. It is never to withdraw support, but rather to add services of support, especially when it comes of free support to us. That is always a plus for us, right? So it's not this or that, but rather this and this, right? So I want us to be, open to that idea, especially when new people are trying to come into the community. Often we hear that it is important for us to talk about investment and people wanting to come to a community to invest into our community. And when people are trying to invest into our communities, it is important, that we are open to having those conversations so that our children don't miss out on potential opportunities. Not only our children, but our families and our community, especially as we are seeing that there are some challenges or in regards to the services that some of our community services right now are struggling to provide to our families. That in regards to I know that, just again, to add to what we had asked of you, I know last year there were some challenges with even the park district not being able to offer, the pool and things of that nature. And again, anything that we can add to what we already offer is always a plus. So I want to thank, you and your administrators for the work that has already been doing, and I'm hopeful that collectively with the partners that we already have in the community, that we can continue those conversations. So I didn't want to interrupt you, so.
Sounds fine. Thank you. I'm good.
Okay. Anything else? Anybody would like to add? Okay, and with that, we will be doing a motion to remove, I would like to make a motion to remove item G from the new business.
Second. Amanda.
Roll call, Jackie?
Fante Bynum,
Yes.
Amanda Harness,
Yes.
Fred Davis,
Yes.
Ariel Owens,
Yes.
Christopher Boyce,
Yes.
Stacy Ramirez.
Yes. All right, thank you. Next item is item A, student discipline, number 031825. This is an action item. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the expulsion with an advance of student number 031825 as presented. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Casey Ramirez,
Yes.
Dante Bynum,
Yes.
Amanda Harness.
Yes.
Fred Davis,
Yes.
Ariel Owens.
Yes.
Christopher Boyce.
Yes.
Thank you. Item B, Northern Illinois Association Service Agreement 2025-2026. This is an information item brought to us by Mr. Kyle Gertis.
All right, good evening. Northwestern Illinois Association is a special education cooperative that we as a district have been working with since before I was a director, so going back to 2020. They provide us with much needed services such as occupational therapy, physical therapy, vision and hearing services, deaf and hard of hearing services. They also provide us different supervision opportunities for our staff in low incidence things such as autism, or supporting our speech and language therapists in their growth and development through some supervision there. Every year we come forward with a service agreement for the upcoming year. We've worked with NIA over the last couple of months to calculate what our needs are for next school year based on the students we know now. What we come up with is a projected amount. This can fluctuate over the course of the next school year, so as students move in and out, it could go up or down. Or students no longer qualify for services, they adjust their rate and what they ultimately are charging us for services. The majority of the cost of this is paid through the Individuals with Disabilities and Education Act, which is a great use of that grant funding for these purposes because the services go right back to our kids. In total, the total cost of the service agreement is $1,843,625. Majority paid for using IDEA grant funds, supplemented as needed with local funds.
Any questions about that?
Do you know the percentage balance of what's funded through the grant and what's local funds?
Currently or yes, to be determined is how I'm gonna look at it moving forward.
Right.
So for example, this year, the IDEA grant was only funded at 85% of what it was funded the year before. We didn't find that out until the fall. So we do have to kind of fluctuate as we find out what those grant dollars are. You know, historically, I think we paid about 1.2 million or so, plus or minus, out of our grant for NIA.
Any other questions?
I will add this, they've been a phenomenal partner for us. And I'm not just saying that, they're really responsive to any feedback we have, their quality of service is really high. They're really dependable, and I know that's something that is often sought after.
Thank you for sharing that. Any other questions? All right, consensus to bring this back?
Yes.
Thank you, Kyle. If you're up there, I'm
gonna stay
assuming
for
next
my
one's
side.
yours too. Okay, item C, school counselor and summer coordinator, summer hours for 2025. This is an information item brought to us by Mr. Kyle Gertis.
Right, so this is another kind of annual ask to the board. And it's one that I honestly get a little excited about because it gives me the chance to talk about our WEB program, which stands for Where Everybody Belongs. Over a decade now, both middle schools have implemented WEB, which, and I'm gonna totally oversimplify it, but basically identifies some really strong role model eighth graders. They go through a process to be identified, they have to apply, they have to be accepted to be WEB leaders. Then that following year, they are the mentors for our incoming sixth graders. So all of our sixth graders are connected to a WEB leader. They have an orientation to start the year before school starts, and then they have different activities that are scheduled throughout the year. It's been a really phenomenal program on two ways. One, it's the sixth graders having a point of contact and a good, person to go to. On the flip side of that, what a great leadership opportunity for a lot of our eighth graders. So we do want to support the planning that goes into that over the summer. So our WEB coordinators spend a lot of time sitting down, planning not only the orientation to start the year, that has to be done before kids come, but also those activities throughout the year. Couple that with our summer hours for our school counselors. So our secondary counselors, so high school and middle school, have historically requested summer hours to basically fulfill a lot of the functions that need to happen over the summer to be prepared when students start in the fall. So our high school counselors, for example, would be available to adjust, course schedules based on classes that were passed or not in the spring semester. Then again, over summer school, they do tours with new students. They meet with parents and families over the course of the summer for a variety of reasons. Our middle school counselors don't require as many hours because they're not necessarily doing as many adjustments with credits and things like that. But they are meeting with families, doing tours, setting schedules before the start of the school year, in addition to planning out some of the MTSSB supports that they would have for all students. So in total, when we look at the total estimated cost of this, which would be paid out of local funds, it would be $109,915.40. That's an estimate, meaning that if for some reason the total hours aren't spent or used, that would be the highest amount that we would be compensating over the summer.
Any questions about that?
Are school counselors unaffiliated, or are they a part of one of our bargaining units?
They're part of our DCTA.
Okay. So they wouldn't be, I guess, an option without reopening the contract, since they're working, it sounds like most of the summer anyway, to move them from a normal 10-month to 12, or?
I think any of, like, those conversations we would have to have with our DCTA leadership to kind of navigate that. It's not a conversation that we've had up to this point.
I'll interject. Our DCTA contract is for 180 days for our staff, so they don't work outside of that contract. That's why we do the additional days, and we don't have a need for them year-round. It's really the summer work and picking up that load of closing out the current school year and then preparing to scheduling and different things for the upcoming school year.
So I guess I'm just gonna ask a potentially stupid question here.
No question
but
is stupid.
If we don't need them outside of the school year, but then we need them for the summer, then we do need them for the year because we have the school year and then we have the summer.
We don't need all of them, right?
Right, right. And there's the spring break, there's the winter break, so we don't need them during those times. It's really the closing of the school year and the opening of the new school year.
Okay.
This is outside of the 180 that are already allocated.
That is correct.
And it is only for a certain amount of people that we need, not necessarily for everyone.
It is, and it's up to a certain number of days. If they get their work done in X number of days and don't need all those days, they don't have to come in.
And as a parent of a child that was a web leader years ago, it was definitely a great program, not only for the students that are obviously receiving the mentoring, but also for the ones that are mentoring them as well. So it definitely develops their skills, and it allows for them to continue some of those leadership opportunities or the desire to become leaders at the high school level. So it's definitely an opening of that opportunity. So it's great to see that it continues and that people find it beneficial.
Yeah, we've had great stability with the program over the years because the people who are doing the work with the kids believe in it. And it's been
And
great.
some of that mentorship too started when, my daughter started at Huntley when she was in 6th grade. It was during COVID. So that transition was very beneficial, especially, as they were transitioning, but then it continued on. That mentorship continues even when that student that was her web leader is now in high school, right? And my daughter's a sophomore and so forth, so it continues that connection continues.
Yeah, that's
So
awesome.
those children definitely continued their leadership involvement throughout our high school as they continue their journey throughout our district. So it's exciting to hear that it continues and that people find it a success. All right, any other questions? Nope. All right, consensus to bring this back?
Yes.
Thank you. All right, item D, National Association of School Nurses Conference, June 26th through the 29th, 2025. This is also an item brought to us by Mr. Kyle Gertis.
All right, last one. So we have the opportunity to send 4 people, our health services manager, and then 3 of our certified school nurses to the National Association of School Nurses Conference in Texas later in June. Just a couple of highlights. You go to a conference, there's a lot you can do and take away from. Obviously, there's professional learning, but the networking and collaboration, learning about how to advocate for community-based mental health things around schools, and overall improving student outcomes are some of the objectives that they expect to kind of take away different things from and bring them back to our district. We do plan on the estimated cost in total for registration, ground travel, airfare is $9,561 paid for using Title I grant funds.
Okay.
Any questions?
Any questions? No? Consensus to bring this back?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, item E, MOU, Network for College Success, University of Chicago, freshman on track. PD, this is an information item brought to us by Ms. Sarah Montgomery. Just Ms. Sarah Montgomery.
Hello, this should look familiar. This is a continuation of our partnership with the University of Chicago. As you know from our data presentations and the school improvement plans, they have done a tremendous amount of work with our high school. This supports the teaching staff and the administrative teams at the high school. This year, I'm also proud to announce that we'll be sending teams of administrators from both of our middle schools to go to the PLC professional development, which is the foundation of so much of the work that can move the needle for our student success. So this is extensive and ongoing professional development that will go on throughout the remainder of next year, hopefully rounding out our needed partnership with them. And this will be paid for out of Title II, which is earmarked for professional development.
Any questions about that?
I guess I just actually want to make a quick comment. Because I know when you look at that MOU, you're probably like, oh, wow, like that's a big amount for professional development. I will say, one thing that we always talk about is making sure that we're impacting in the classroom and helping student outcomes. And I mean, if there is one program that we have started here at this district that has made demonstrable changes in the outcomes we've seen from our students, it's the Freshman on Track. So I guess I just want to come out and say that this is a program that has my full endorsement within our district because it has done phenomenal work to help our students out at the high school.
Thank you. It's helped a lot with our attendance rates, the freshmen on track, and our graduation rates as well, and then so much within our classrooms.
And as a parent, again, of a sophomore who participated
She was the
last year.
cohort.
She was a
in the pilot
cohort,
cohort.
a pilot cohort last year. I've seen it firsthand, the immediate response that comes from that, in receiving updates on grades and attendance and you name it. I mean, behavioral, and even tardies, everything. It's reported immediately and it allows at least the parents to know and be aware of how to work collectively with administrators if needed, to obviously provide the child with the additional, the support needed if there was to be a need, right? Thankfully.
It's been
I don't
great
have that needed,
networking.
but definitely, I can see it. You know, I've heard great things about it, so,
Thank you.
I appreciate that.
And thank you to Dr. Garcia Sanchez. She's the one who pointed us to this organization that they may be able to provide support for us.
So thank you again for that.
I just gotta throw this in. I am challenging the high school to get us at 95% graduation rate by the year of June
you turned it off.
2028.
You turned it off.
Oh, I turned it off. June 2028, my challenge is that we have a 95% graduation rate. Based on what I'm seeing right now and where we're going, I see the trajectory being right on. You'd have
It
to.
is rising.
Yes, I think that that's gonna happen, so I have to trust that it happens. Thank you so much, Sarah.
Thank you for all the work that goes in again, and thank you for the leadership that you bring to obviously to our administrators in sharing these opportunities. Because, you know, we don't know what we don't know, but once we know, it's always awesome to be able to provide those services or opportunities to our staff and to our administrators, so thank you for that.
Thank you.
Okay, the next actually, let me go back. Consensus to bring this back. Yes, thank you. All right, the next item is item F. PD requests, argument-driven inquiry. This is, ADI, July 14 through the 17. This is an information item brought to us by Ms. Sarah Montgomery.
ADI, as you said, is argument-driven inquiry, and we utilize the strategies and the resources within our science classrooms. We have provided professional development within our district for many years that predates me. And this will allow us to do a train-the-trainer model, so we will send Sarah Schaefer and Amy Broadcorp, our two managers that oversee the STEAM and STEM resources and professional. This will save us a lot of money on the back end, so then they can go in and train people. When we bring ADI in, a couple of years ago, it was about $6,000 a pop. So this will save us dividends on the back end. This will also be paid for out of Title II, which is earmarked for professional development.
And just for clarity purposes, Sarah, STEAM stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, Art, and Math, correct? Okay, thank you. All right, any questions about that? All right, consensus to bring this back?
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. All right, and with that, we have superintendent report.
I love my new front row here. Thank you for moving up. Good evening, everyone. First, I'm going to just, again, repeat what two of our board members and those of you who have attended. The Willy Wonka musical that occurred over the weekend that both Clinton Rosette and Huntley put on together. Amazing, nothing but great things being said. I hope that we continue to provide performances like that for all of our kids and that they continue to collaborate. Because when we work together, there's nothing we can do that we cannot do. So I really appreciate that teamwork across the administrators, the teachers, the staff, and of course our students. Great job, guys. Second thing, I know, my favorite sport. The DeKalb Middle School Wrestling Team, co-op, came in second place statewide out of 173 teams. I think that's amazing. Again, our children are having an opportunity to both compete academically and compete athletically and in performances. The stronger we build them, the more that we nurture them in different areas, we sharpen their saw so they become stronger and better for all of us. So I'm really excited about that. I know I make fun of myself regarding wrestling, but if it does something for the kids and it makes them feel really good, then I feel good about that. Just don't make me watch. Okay, thank you for that. The other thing, I just want to say, I grapple with a lot of things. Notice I use the word grapple, and it's a wrestling term for those of you. Okay, so I grapple with some things, and one of the things that I grapple with a lot, and I talk to staff about often, is that we're in this business, in this industry for kids. So we're not in this industry for anything other than making sure that our children are stronger, they're better, they get what they need. Whether they can get it somewhere else outside of our walls, maybe, but if we can provide it for them to make them better, then I want to. That means that we as grown-ups have to learn how to be collaborative, how to give and take, and how to share. And I think for me, it's really important that as we move forward, regardless of who's where, because I know the board members will be leaving and new board members will be joining us. At the end of the day, this job isn't for the adults. This work that we do is for students. So I just want us to make sure that we keep that in mind. Anytime that you work with us, that will be the first thing that we lay out. My team will tell you they do a great job, but the one thing I said, if it doesn't do something for kids, you better figure out a different way. If it's gonna hurt kids, we're not even touching it. Our children deserve the very best, and that's what we're going to give them, always. A class, not C class, not third class, A class, number one, because our staff can provide it, we can lead it, and we are going to do that for our families. So those of you that want to partner with us are going to have to live up to those expectations. Thank you, and have a great evening, because I'm done. I'm going to pass it back to her, and that means we get to go home.
Well, you all get to go home. We have to go back to closed session. So Jackie, we make a motion then to adjourn this session and then go back to.
You'll just make a motion to go back into closed session and then read the exception for what you're going back in for.
Okay, so with that, it is now 7:49 and we will adjourn to closed session. It is recommended that the Board of Education adjourn to closed session for the purpose of collective negotiating matters between the public body and its employees or their representatives, or deliberation concerning salary schedules for one or more classes of employees. The appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees, specific individuals who serve as independent contractors in a park, recreational, or educational setting, or specific volunteers of the public body or legal counsel for the public body, including hearing testimony on a complaint lodged against an employee, a specific individual who serves as an independent contractor in a park, recreational, or educational setting, or a volunteer of the public body, or against legal counsel for the public body to determine its validity. However, a meeting to consider an increase in compensation to a specific employee of a public body that is subject to the Local Government Wage Increase Transparency Act may not be closed and shall be open to the public and posted and held in accordance with this act. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Christopher Boyce,
Yes.
Stacy Ramirez.
Yes.
Samantha Bynum,
Yes.
Amanda Harness.
Yes.
Fred Davis.
Yes.
Ariel Owens.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great night.
I just want to double check, the doors, we'll leave the doors open for people to leave. I'm not sure how long you'll be here. Should we close? Open.
The outside
The outdoors.